Welcome, everybody, to another episode of On the Range podcast with War HOGG Tactical and Kelly Defense. Today is April 28th, 2021. How are you today, Rick?
I'm doing awesome, brother. Just want to thank the viewers, listeners out there for giving us your most precious commodity, your time to dial in. So appreciate you guys giving us that time.
Yes, sir. Today's episode is brought to you by killcliff.com. They are fueling the American dream with good, clean energy, aren't they, Rick?
Oh, you know it, brother.
Yeah, buddy.
And a little CBD as well.
Yeah, man. That wasn't planned at all, by the way. Anyway, Everybody, there's a big announcement coming up on Kill Cliff, and all the Cult Club campers have the first access to it. So go to Kill Cliff on Instagram and click the link, or visit killcliff.com and hit the Kill Cliff Cult tab. So anyway, buddy, we got a great show today. We have a very special guest. Why don't you go ahead and bring us in?
Yeah, buddy. So today's episode, we're reaching up north into Canada to get our guests. So Kelsi Sheren is our guest of Brass and Unity. Not only is it a jewelry company, but she also has her own podcasts. She is a combat veteran and soon to be author, which I can't wait to hear if she can get into the details. Kelsi, thank you for your service. Thanks for being on the show. Great to have you on.
Thank you guys so much. I'm so thrilled. I was like a listener of your show, and I was like a big fan. Thank you guys for your service and what you guys continue to do for our community. I think it's incredibly important, the honest and open conversations you have. So thank you so much for providing that to our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we were kind of chatting beforehand. We mentioned the whole TBI thing. I guess there's some dramas up there. I'll let you, whether you want to dabble into it now or later. Yeah, sure. Totally your call.
Yeah, no, I was in a car accident recently, and I had some memory loss and some issues. And unfortunately, after having so many blast issues from being an artillery gunner, already running the 777s, and then what happened to me overseas on another operation, my equilibrium and everything was just thrown out the window, and I forgot my phone number. And so you and I actually talked very briefly and gave me some tips, and I've been using them, and shockingly it works. So I really appreciate it.
No, you're very welcome, because like I said, I was the guy that when I retired, or prior to retiring, I was pretty much living in a punch drunk world. I mean, I just had to say TBI. It's so unfair. I believe you're in the military, especially you being, a gunner there. I mean, how many blasts, how much PSI you've eaten, and then in turn, I don't know if you had it beforehand or if it was the car wreck. I know for me, getting knocked unconscious over in Afghanistan, falling out of a helo, I think was the critical point that kind of started my brain going down that road of falling off. But just, they're incredible, incredible organs we got in our body, but we got to sit there and take care of them. Even if we do damage them, I think you're finding out it can be repaired, just depending on the severity, but it's a little bit, each day.
Yeah, it takes time. I found with TBIs, they're tricky. It's like PTSD. It's tricky. It's one of those things that I didn't think, some days I don't think it would affect me, and others it does. It's a weird animal. They're both very weird things to deal with.
Yeah, they are, because the thing with PTS and TBI is they parallel each other as far as signs and symptoms, with the exception of on the PTS side, it's usually those reoccurring nightmares. And I'm not personally a big fan of the term PTS because it's too generic in my opinion. So for example, do I have mental scars from the war? Sure. Nothing to do with the battlefield. The deaths of my mates that I ever mourned for, and then the pain I caused to my family, that's my mental baggage. So some would lump that, well, you've got PTS. I'm not. I've seen some people that cannot go out in public because of that whole fear thing and what's going to happen. So I just think it's not the best broad brush thing to put out there as far as a term or verbiage.
Fair enough. I was given that term. I know there's different severity levels of it. For me, when I was first home for approximately the first 5 years, that was my life. I couldn't leave the house. And when I did, I was terrifying to be around. Jumpy doesn't even come close to what it was. My head was on a swivel. You would have thought I was on an op, and I'd be with my husband and my family. And all I could think about is, don't step on that piece of garbage. Don't stand over there. Stand over here. And so I know there are severities. The obvious point is, unfortunately, the literature and where the DSM-5 is sitting at in terms of terminology, we don't have a better option or solution. And up in Canada, at least, the diagnoses are very much based on PTSD. I very much disagree with the D attached to it, although I will say I do make the mistake of saying it because it is habit for me due to the fact that that's all I've known. I'm learning as I grow into this community with the United States and really tapping into that. It's more PTS, and even then, it's still not quite determined and broken down correctly, in my opinion.
You know, speaking of that community that you just mentioned, a lot of your outreach is based along this same topic, correct? And some of it, it flows over into your social media stuff as well. How much of that is this mostly business driven, or is it your passion for outreach for folks that are suffering similar things?
Okay, so what really happened, and I'll dive into this, and it, cut me off. I'm a bit of a rambler. In case you haven't listened to my podcast, I do ramble the hell out of things.
We want to hear it. We want to hear it. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, what happened to me with my life in the military ended very early on, very unfortunately, when I was 19, and I was medically released, a 3B med release, forcibly left the military with an honorable discharge when I was 21, and I was told I would never work again. There's no chance in hell that I could ever have a functioning life in society due to the fact that I live in Canada, and in Canada, we have a very diverse group of people. And the province I happen to live in happens to look a lot like Afghanistan on a regular basis. So there were some tricks to that. There's nothing wrong with that. But that being said, that's what I was dealt, the hand I was dealt. Now, how it worked with me was that the military didn't really want to take responsibility for my injury due to the fact I was borrowed by another country. I wasn't with my own country. I wasn't on a joint operation. I was strictly taken as a one-off to go with some other unit in another country. And I was my own boss, and my own mission and my own everything was dictated by myself. And so, they took that as, could you not just keep your shit together one time when we send you somewhere instead of embarrassing everyone? Unfortunately, once I left the military, I was incredibly suicidal on a daily basis. I didn't function. I didn't do well. I was not what you would call a part of society. That you shouldn't see me. I shouldn't have been seen at the time. I put my family through hell, which they understand, and I'm very grateful for them sticking by and supporting me throughout everything I've been through. The man I was dating at the time is now my husband, so he's really, holy hell, has been through the ringer with me, and so I love talking about how amazing he is. But what had happened was my treatment doctors at the time, who I was fortunate enough to be given one of the best doctors in PTS or trauma research and veterans, Dr. Greg Passy, gave me the opportunity to do art therapy. And he goes, listen, you're not an art therapy type of gal. I'm very aware of this, but we think that this could be something that could help you get your mind off of it instead of sleeping and lying in bed and wanting to kill yourself every day. And so I called a few friends who happened to be ex-snipers or were just getting in or, getting out, some special ops guys. And I said, can you send me some casings? I want to play with some casings. I don't have a gun, which is weird. And I'm rectifying and correcting that decision as we speak. But I don't. And so I didn't have access to casings at the time. And I had heard a bunch of rumors in the world that, don't you laugh at me, team, that crystals could help. And I was so far down, and I was so close to dying every day, and the pain I was in. If you would have told me that I had to lick a bunch of frogs every single day and I would feel better, I would have licked the shit out of those frogs. Those frogs would have been my best friends. So I was willing to do whatever it took. So I went to a jewelry store and I bought a bunch of beads, crystals, and I was like, whatever, give it all. And I need it all. And then my husband was like, you're going to need a pipe cutter. So I have a handheld pipe cutter. I have a handheld drill and a hammer. And then I went onto the kitchen table and started smashing shit. Turned it into jewelry. So I wasn't trying to start a company. I wasn't trying to grow a business. I was trying to survive for myself. And then somebody was like, hey, those bracelets are cool. Can I buy one? And I was like, they're not really like for sale, but okay. And it was my very first bracelet. And it's a beaded bracelet with a 7.62 or a 5.56 round cut down. And it's in a bead. And I made one and started knocking on some doors. And unfortunately, my father-in-law used to co-own a company called Mechanics Wear Gloves. So he's a very successful businessman. And then my husband, who was a professional supercross racer, has a neck brace company called Atlas Neck Brace and Matrix Concepts. And it's the safest neck brace in the world. And so he has business. And so I walked into like the best possible situation for like learning on my feet entrepreneurship. And they were like, listen, if you want to do this, let's do this. We think we can do this. You can do this. And fast forward to 5 years, which would have been 5 years this March, was the birth of Brass and Unity. And so my idea was, I'm sick of watching my friends kill themselves, because now I've actually lost more of my friends I served with to suicide than I did to IEDs or tragic loss overseas. And I was tired of it, except I didn't have a way to help. And all I knew is if I could get a company to grow and people to pay attention and use a casing of all things, and I patent it and I trademark it and I push it out to the world and people will know what this is, it can be a conversation starter. So the whole point of my company is mental health, period. This company is just the financial means to the ends. That's all it is. It's the vehicle, the tool we use to put the money in the hands of the people that are actually doing the hard work, like the charities that we support.
Now, Kelsi, correct me if I'm sorry, Mark, but I was just going to ask Kelsi real quick. Don't you have something if you want to protect our eyes from the sun that might be sitting on your table there?
Oh yeah. And so with my dope ass company, over time, my husband said to me, because my husband's brilliant when it comes to design, this is what he does. And so with all of his lack of free time and also raising our child, he was like, you know, it'd be really cool is like, nobody's ever put a bullet casing into sunglasses. And I was like, do you think that's an actual possibility? And he goes, anything's a possibility, baby.
Yeah.
And then I was like, show me. And he's like, show you. But bam, look at that. That right there.
Yes.
Is the end of the casing plated in titanium on a stainless steel tack lens, anti-scratch, fucking polarized, badass pair of shades that we have. And we donate 20% of every single piece, in the net profits of my company go to organizations all over the United States and in Canada and in Europe. So when you purchase a product from Brass and Unity and you're from America, even though I'm Canadian, those donations stay in the United States. If you purchase it from Canada, then they stay in Canada. Same with Europe, England, Australia, everywhere else that people purchase from us. If your address shows up as Illinois, that money stays in the States, period.
Nice.
That's awesome. That was subtle as a train wreck, though. I like it. I like what you did.
That's what I do.
That was awesome. So, but
I love it.
the story there, though, hitting bottom like you did and just trusting in yourself and your family and coming to where you're at now. Wow. Very inspirational. And I can see why everything is going in the right direction for you. And you're right. We're losing too many of our, fellow soldiers and even law enforcement to this type of thing. So fantastic. That's awesome. By the way, where can these guys get those shades and these bracelets and stuff?
Brassandunity.com, baby.
All right. We'll put that in the show notes. But Rick and I were also talking with you before the show, and now we understand. We can tell with the badass microphone and the cameras and everything. You're also a podcaster that has a video show. How did that all happen?
Oh, random. Oh God, this is how my life functions. It's like I get an opportunity.
You're looking at random right here.
I know, but I love your show, though. You guys do such a good job. And at least you have one another to feed off each other. I just stare at myself, and then it's like an alter ego. You know what it is? It's really just my hat talking. That's what I've come to the conclusion. I went from a beret to a helmet to a beret, and I'm like, my head, I don't think the top of my head is ever supposed to be like a scene object.
But here's the thing, Kelsi, you need to put a big old 50 cal piece of brass on there. Just
right?
Shine that thing up.
I know. I need someone to make me a hat
on the website. Yeah, man.
You know what it is? No, seriously, this is not even a joke. I'm so obsessed with hats. It's such a problem that I have a wall now. And the thing is this brand is an Australian brand. I'm not even going to say the name because I've tried to get them to fucking give me a hat so I can just say that I wear their hats, but they won't do it. So I need somebody out there to make me a hat that I can like blow up because I wear this thing religiously and I can't get shit for it.
Yeah, I bet the royalties you would have made on, because you're wearing that all the time now. I see on your show, so that you'd be rolling in the dough.
I love it. You know, it's not even about the money. Give the money to a charity. I don't care. I just don't want to have to pay for my hats every 5 seconds.
I got to figure out where's my, like, unlike Notch.
Yeah,
you know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Paul's a Marine veteran who came up with that fancy idea. So yeah, we support him, and yeah.
That's awesome.
So the podcast.
Get him to make me a hat, bro. Get him to make me a hat, put a notch in it. I'll run the shit out of that. But it's got to be like a flat rim. It's got to be like a flat rim where half my head doesn't exist.
No, because the whole purpose of the notch is when you roll it, that notch is cut off. So your glass it's not a flat brim design.
Listen, you can still put it in here, and I can just put like a metal piece here, and I'll use it as a bottle opener. It'll just be super badass.
People mistake that notch for a bottle opener all the time.
That's what they think it is. I can't get my sides right. Yeah, they think it's a bottle opener.
But you got the whole that hat's the whole like Stevie Ray Vaughan blues thing, right? Is that what you're going for, or is it?
I'm not going for anything. I'm going for half my head not existing because I like it that way.
Going for the Kelsi look.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I'm not trying to be anybody else but me. I just like hats. I think there's something, it like turns on like an alter ego where I just feel comfortable and it keeps me safe. It feels like a blankie. I'm wearing my blankie, guys. Thanks for calling me out on my shit.
No.
You said it, not us. We just merely said, hey, it would look cool if you had a big old 50 cal hunk of brass on there.
I know.
Then you were like,
on my hat.
Then you got some Aussie company, again, another Commonwealth country that doesn't want to support. I'm a little shocked myself, but just saying.
They're fashion related. I don't have enough followers for them to give a shit about me.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, Jeff Jones is pushing out a shout out for one of our listeners, saying what a compelling and inspirational story so far that we've had on here. Really appreciate the comment, Jeff. Yeah, really, it's an unbelievable story, and good on you for the outreach and all the stuff you're doing. It's amazing. It really
Thank you.
is.
And thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you you dropping in. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much.
So the podcast is doing well. Go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, I was just going to say, just to kind of ride on what Jeff's saying. I mean, let's think about it, guys. So for the viewers, listeners out there, if this isn't inspiration, I don't know what is. To be at rock bottom, literally. And Kelsi, if I'm speaking out of turn, please tell me. But honestly, to be at rock bottom and then to pick yourself up by the bootstraps like that, and then sit there and go, boom, striving entrepreneur, a podcaster, which, we all know what that's like, soon to be author. I mean, come on, man, you're knocking this thing out of the park. So that in itself is inspirational. Then, oh, by the way, you're giving back to help these guys and gals that are having these dramas. That is fantastic. So, I mean, that right there is inspiration for anyone out there that you think you're in the dumps, you think you can't do it, man, go hit Kelsi up and do whatever you want to do.
That's really 100%. Kind of you. I think there's a difference between a lot of it's a mindset. I was a professional athlete when I was younger, and so I learned very quickly. My favorite thing that my mom ever taught me, like she cut the word "can't" out of the dictionary, and so that didn't exist in my life. And when my mom was able to really, my mom and dad, sorry, but my dad was a truck driver, so my mom was there the most, but they were both really able to instill in me that like no quit kind of attitude. And truthfully, when I got to the point where suicide felt like the only option, the only thing I knew how to do and the only thing that prevented me from actually following through was I made a phone call to my now husband, and I had it planned. If he's not answering the phone, then that to me was a sign I'm not supposed to be here. As ridiculous as that sounds, but he answered the phone that day, and it sounds ridiculous because it was. So I I've been in situations overseas where I had a case, you know, I had a round miss me by 2 inches. I stepped on an IED, didn't go off. Like, I had to believe that I was meant to be here for something bigger. I just at the time couldn't understand or see what it was. And this truthfully feels like what I'm meant to be doing. And if that means that I give up everything and I just work and help with these charities, then I'm going to do that. I don't take a paycheck. I've never taken a paycheck. The goal is to donate $1 million before I even take anything out of this company. And so we've donated $500,000 and we're well on our way. And, you know, at the end of the day, if it means that I can just save one person and let that mom have their kid for another, you know, while, then whatever. If it means a bracelet helps, whatever.
All worth it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
No, that is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, you got me, you know, words can't replace, right? No. Because again, that's the whole thing is here you are, you know, driving forward, helping these people. And like you said, it's only one. And it's funny you mentioned the phone call, because if I could tell you how many other people were sitting in some type of situation where they were looking to kill themselves, and it was either the phone call they made or the phone call they got.
Right.
You know, and, you know, say what you want. I firmly believe in divine intervention because of things that have happened to me overseas that you're like, I should not be here on this earth right now on 3 separate occasions. And something injects in, right? And you sit there and go, there's something bigger than me. What's my purpose? What's my drive? And you hit the nail on the head. Yeah. If it's one, just one, man, mission accomplished. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt you're going to hit your goal. You're crushing it. And
I hope.
Yeah,
but I know you had mentioned the podcast, and then I totally went off on a tangent.
Well,
so
okay. Nope.
All good.
Yeah, so the podcast was kind of a random thing as well. I got asked by some people that were working with me that, you know, hey, you do have this coming out and that coming out, and I think you have the gift for gab, which if you're around me enough. It's annoying. I'm annoying as hell, but I'll get it done. And so I said, you know, I'm lucky enough to have a husband that was in the Supercross world and very well in it, where I know I can pull on some strings and get, you know, some guests from there. I'm like, okay, I know there's some vet friends that have some really great stories. I'd love to share them. I'm like, okay. So we were going to do a podcast a year later. And then within, I think it was 2 weeks of them being like, you should probably start a podcast now. We had the studio built and we had it up and running, and I was booking guests, and we had done, I think we banked, it was like 15 episodes within like the first month. I just hammered out 2 a days with people, had them come in. And unfortunately, I live in a country that's currently being run by the Gestapo. So we had to zoom in everybody. Yo, it's bad. Yeah. It's so bad. Canada's so bad right now. Shit, it's embarrassing how bad it is. So I banged out a bunch of that sounds bad. I didn't bang out guests. Well, I guess I banged out.
Wow, that explains the popularity. Yeah.
God damn it. I knew I was good at something. So I banged out a few episodes with some guys and girls, and then put them out to the world. And, you know, we learn, we make mistakes. I had some errors happen with mics. I was pretty disappointed with some of my favorite guests. Like I had Ryan Villapoto, 4-time Supercross world champion, best racer in the whole world. Fortunately, that redheaded stepchild is a friend of ours, so I'm going to try to get his ass back on again. And then my mics it happens, you know, you just try to improve and get better, and that's all you can do.
Yeah. Well, the set looks awesome. It explains why the production value was so high right off the beginning. Ours wasn't so great, by the way. But yeah, you've had some great guests, and the studio looks great. And I haven't really seen a whole lot of people pushing out that many shows like you did in a short amount of time. I think you're up to what, 30 some shows right already?
Yeah, and I've got 5 in the bank, and
That's
I've got
amazing.
2. I'm doing like 2 a days. Like my goal is to try to release a couple a week. It really comes down to getting enough guests, right? And so you guys know what it's like when it comes to booking people. I feel like because and correct me if I'm wrong, because I run into this, American special operators, you guys are tapped into a different community that would more likely say yes to you than to me. And I want to say I know that for sure because I've been turned down by a few special operators, which is kind of devastating to me. I won't lie to you because they're my favorite people to have on. You know, they're just like, oh, we just don't have time, or like, how much money do you have? And I'm like, well, I don't pay myself, so
yeah,
I can't pay you.
Well,
but it's kind of, I think if you give them the backstory as well, right? So, hey, check it out.
Nobody knows me. Yeah, nobody knows me.
No,
That's the problem.
I got that. But when you do kind of the reach out there, hey, sit there. This is what we're doing. We've already given $500,000 to charity. I mean, that says huge amounts in itself. And why not just make people a little more educated as far as the whole PTS TBI thing goes? Why not?
Yeah.
You don't have to sit there and tell war stories, because Mark will tell you, we don't. Hey, here's the thing. I appreciate people's service. Cool.
Right.
But I want to know the here and now. I want to know, hey,
right.
that transitional piece, you know, you're sitting there at rock bottom, pull your boots up, you know, podcast, author, entrepreneur. I mean, come on. That's what's inspiring the next generation, or the people listening, viewing, to go, how do you make yourself better? So,
no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I appreciate that. I think if as I go and I grow, and the thing is I'm Canadian. That seems to be a kind of a nail in the coffin for some people, because I think they forget that we serve. And the kicker is, and I love this question, and so I'll just hit you with it. Yeah. Women in Canada have been on the front lines the whole time. We've never not had women infantry. We've never not had women artillery. We've never not had women armored. We've got door gunners. We've got them all. If you can do the job, they give us the opportunity. I was fortunate enough to be one of 2 women. I was the only woman on my gun, and I was one of 2 in that regiment that actually deployed. And my other one was an officer. And she was the same height as me, 5 foot. The rounds are half the height of us. They weigh the same amount as us. But if I could huck that round and I could do the job, I was allowed to do the job. So I was lucky because I was given unique opportunities serving alongside other countries that don't allow their women on the front lines. So when I talk to these people, I don't think they quite understand what that means for us and what we're capable of. So they often kind of stops them in their tracks. And you did what? You ran the guns. No, I ran the guns. Like, I huck the rounds, like I shoot the rounds down range, like, and then I go out and I play infantry with the British. Like, that's what I do. I don't talk about my war stories. That's for when the book comes out. Y'all will get to see that in a whole other light. But what I do is we've had women on the front lines the whole time. I mean, I just saw you guys are having I think it's your first women Marines, all Marine unit graduate coming up pretty soon. And I mean, kudos to those women. That's amazing. But we've been doing it for a while already.
Yeah. But Kelsi, here's the thing on the Canadians, right? So it's funny. Our first guest, correct me if I'm wrong here, Mark, Marcus Torgerson, he's Canadian by birth.
Yeah. Canadian.
Nice. I don't know.
So, you know, we're granted, we dub ourselves all things America, but we reach out. You know, we're good with the Commonwealth. We're tight. So
I like it. Some people just, I think they just like, I want to be America only. Let's only talk about America. And I'm like, I love America. We have a house there. I go there. I'm like, I'm kind of American. I live on the border. You guys come in my backyard and run through without like permission all the time. I feel like we're friends. Can we not just be friends?
No, I'm with you. But you're doing so much more by, you know, bringing these issues forward. I mean, that's absolutely huge.
Well, I think there's a lot of people trying to bring them forward. I just think it's being done in a lot of different ways. And it would be really cool if we could all maybe like sit down and be like, we're all trying to do the same thing. We are more powerful as a group than we are individually talking about the same topic. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Sure. Now, you did mention the book, and you know, is that going to be a kind of your memoirs, and when's that coming out, and what can people expect?
So the book is called Brass and Unity. everything falls under Brass and Unity, everything. Because the way I run my company and the way I run my life is I like to really lean into what I do. I don't want to have a bunch of different names on a bunch of different stuff. My goal is for people to understand what we do. So BRASS stands for Bravery, Retired Assistant Soldier Support, and unifying the public and the general civilian population with what we go through as veterans and first responders. And the reason I include first responders is because some of the charities I support heavily also look after first responders, police, fire, paramedic, border security, all of that, because I believe there is trauma when you're dealing with those types of things, regardless if you're military or not. Mm-hmm. So the book is coming out, apparently, I'm being told, this October. It was supposed to be a year ago. Due to COVID sucking the life out of everything, we hit pause on it. I'm very grateful that we did now, because it gives us a great opportunity to bring it out to the world now. So this October, it is a memoir. So it goes up to a certain point in my life. And the goal is to have another, a part 2 of my life, because I don't believe that my life and my story ends here. But I also have been told and was welcomed on by a really incredible publisher that my story, she felt, was compelling enough to tell up until that point and a little bit afterward. And the book is really, as though it is, a memoir, it is very much also, I'm hoping, a learning tool or some type of inspiration. I'm not trying to say I'm any magical unicorn inspirational person. I just happen to be blessed with a group of people that believed in me and my story and really put the time and effort into me and gave me the opportunity to put it forward. And so it almost felt like a disservice to those around me and those I served with to not take the gifts that I'm being given and really run with them as hard and fast as I can.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Kelsi, I got to ask, did you journal while you were overseas, or did you journal at all in the military?
I didn't. I regret that. That is I do now. I don't have it with me because I put it away, but I was given a really dope ass journal from Heroic Hearts Foundation when I went on a retreat with them, and I journal now. I have ever since, I was diagnosed, and it's really been a good tool for me to get my thoughts out and really just kind of work on it that way.
Yeah. Big regret of mine, not journaling and taking more pictures. Just my
Oh,
friends.
pictures.
Oh,
yeah.
Let's try to something we ask and something we try to push out there as one of our messages. Cause I know, so all three of us sitting here, didn't journal, didn't take enough photos. So it'd be nice to look back, 30 years ago. Hey, what was I doing today? I don't know, but just,
I agree.
And it doesn't have to be a whole bunch, just something, just plug something in for that date. And,
Now you've had some pretty big media events too, though. Weren't you on Good Morning America?
That was last year. Do you want me to run through them and sound like a dickhead? I can do that.
No, but I want to know what that's like. I want to know what that's like.
It's like this. It's stressful. It's a lot. You know what? I actually just had a panic attack before the show, so I'll just hit that with a straight up message. That's why when I called you for the link, I thought I was late, because I hate being late. If I'm 15 minutes early, I'm late. I still live by that very much, and everyone around me knows that. So everyone goes into panic mode when I feel like I'm late. But I try really. No, me panicking?
No, being on a show like that.
It's weird, because here's why. The Good Morning America segment, I was really lucky. Well, I'll say I was lucky. I wish I could have went. I didn't get to go because of COVID, but I was really lucky. I had a film team here that could provide what they needed. Because if I didn't have them, I don't know if I would have got picked. And here's what's even crazier. They put me on the Remembrance Day, your Veterans Day, we're Remembrance Day up here. They put us on that. They picked me as the veteran for that on an American show. And I was like, oh my God.
That's awesome.
It was an honor. It was wild. The website went a little bananas for the day. Wasn't expecting that. I was just grateful to get to share a part of me with the rest of the world. I try to use my story as like I said, as a learning tool. And so the fact that they picked me for it was wild. The one after that was even more insane though. Like I was on Carson Daly's show.
Wow.
Yeah. Carson picked me out of well, first off, my publicist told me like, there's probably no chance. So like, don't worry about it. Cause he had just interviewed Logic. So like, I was like, okay, yeah, like, sure, I'll do it. I'm like, I was like sweating. I'm like, I can't. And then I got a call and he was like, actually NBC picked you for Carson Daly's Mind Matters episode. And Carson is going to email you. And then you guys are going to sit down and you're going to get interviewed by him for an hour. And you're just going to talk to Carson Daly on the phone, like your bros. And I was like, what?
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
You just can't swear though. And then everyone was like, oh God, she can't do this. She can't do this. So that one was crazier because I was actually talking and interacting with Carson. I had, again, because of COVID, I had a film team here. And then I got on a Zoom call with Carson. And he was, oh my God, if you guys ever get the chance to talk to that man, he is cool as hell. His family members were Rangers. And we actually we did an hour and a half. We just got talking like about military and like his family, and just his whole deal with the Mind Matters is normalizing mental health and the normalization of reaching out and helping others through mental health. So that was his deal. And so we did it. And then they cut the episode down to, I think it was like 6 minutes. And they just picked snippets of, you know, like my office and all this kind of stuff. And then they put it out. And that was insane. I don't even know how to put it into words what happened. I was for once being acknowledged in a way that I was never acknowledged when I got out. And then amazing things started trickling in after that. It was just a big honor.
That's so cool.
That's fantastic. So what trickled in after that? What was some other things?
Some stuff I can't talk about because I just found out 10 minutes before the conversation. But trust me, when it comes out, like I will come back and your heads will explode, because mine, hence the panic attack before here. I was sitting out on the grass on the side of the freeway, grounding, trying to breathe because I was melting down. But I've been really lucky.
You wasn't because you were coming on the Range podcast? It's a big deal.
It was a pretty big deal. I won't even lie to you. I was like, shit, I have to put makeup on and I don't have enough time for this.
Yeah,
no, it was. It's being on your show is it's honestly an honor, like in a bigger way than you guys imagine. So don't get that twisted. Now, what I'm talking about was this is like
huge.
Yeah, it was. And so, you know, I don't talk about it yet because there's a lot of parts up in the air, but you know, let's just say things are spinning off from the book in a beautiful, beautiful way, in every way I hoped they could. We're going to donate from the book, by the way, as well. So I'm actually in talks with a partnership with a very big United States charity to donate the US portions of the book to them. And then I have a charity up in Canada called Honor House that will get the Canadian portions of the book. And then the other project, there will also be donations, but my goal is to start my own foundation at some point as well.
Man, good for you. That is awesome.
Now the book release, is it going to be paperback first and then hardcover? How's that going to come out?
So there'll be an audiobook. It won't sound as stuffy as I sound right now.
Are you reading it?
I will be. Yeah, that's
nice.
That's the unfortunate goal for the rest of you listeners. I am reading it, but it will come out in bookstores. It will be on Amazon. It'll be the whole shebang. It'll be everywhere.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm excited.
That is
terrified.
Now, aside from the book, what else? Any other events coming out? I know you have several sponsors that you spoke about that help, donate to your causes. Any big events coming up?
Well, I do have a collaborative product coming out. I've got two actually I can talk about today. I'm really thrilled because one of them I just finalized the call this morning, and the other one I'm so lucky. I had a guest on my show named Griff. I don't know if you guys know of who this Ranger is, but he runs a company called Combat Flip Flops. Bad for running, even worse for fighting. That is their slogan, and it's hilarious, and I love it.
That is good.
They were on Shark Tank. They were on Shark Tank. Okay. Yeah, they got a deal. They're great. I reached out to Griff when I started the show. I originally was just looking to see, my husband was like, hey, have you heard of these guys? I think you remember watching the episode, but I think they could be a cool sponsor for the podcast. And I was like, okay, I reached out. I'm not thinking I'm going to get anything back. Less than like 15 minutes, this guy is on it. He is sharp as hell. He's like, yeah, I think that we fit. I think that would be great. I would love to sponsor the show. So I started working with that, and then I kind of lean in and I was like, could I possibly get like the CEO on my podcast? Like, since you're sponsoring it, like real awkward, like not thinking. Yeah, no problem. He goes, no problem. I'm like, oh my God, freaking out, because I've always wanted to have the chance to talk with you special operators, because you're like what I wanted to be when I was in. And since we allow women to do whatever, there's always like a chance. And so I was like, so you're telling me there's a chance, like I can do this. And then they're like, joke's on you. You're only 5 foot. So no, I was like, shit. Yeah. So that didn't happen. So, you know, my next best thing was like, I'll just like befriend a bunch of you really cool guys, and then I'll like vicariously live through you. And so I wanted to talk to Griff about Afghanistan and things like that, because I had such a poor perception of the country, being I want to say a regular soldier, you know, in and out of FOBs, not really getting to know the culture, not getting to know the people and the humanity behind it. And so you leave with just such dark hatred. And that for me, coupled with survivor's guilt, was, you know, huge. And so he came on the podcast and it went incredibly well. I loved talking with him. He opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I, you know, did my own research from there. And then he reached out afterward. It was like, hey, you know, there's this opportunity. We're doing this veteran event. It's very small. It could help your mental health. Would you ever want to come down to the States and do it? And so I did that in January of this year. And to say it was a life-changing event is putting it mild. I got the opportunity to go with these guys, and all of these guys were special operators, and I was the only female. And I got welcomed in with open arms for the first time in, I'd say, my career being around military, and it helped heal me in a way that I never thought I would be. So talking to Griff and having that conversation and bringing him into my life, it was a very serendipitous, very divine kind of situation. He really helped the journey along. And so I got this opportunity to just work with them. And so I have now a collaboration coming out. I think it's May 11th with Combat Flip Flops, and they have their I think it's their Shadow flip flop and a pair of our Commander sunglasses with the tack lens and the silver plated casing on the side. And nice. They're flex. Check that out. Yeah. Nice. And they're polarized and they're incredible and they're anti-scratch. And they partnered with us and they drove all the way up to the border a couple weeks ago. From where they are.
Threw a box over the
No. We have this weird loophole right now. The borders are closed.
I was just saying, I thought we were out.
Oh yeah, you're out. Yeah, we don't welcome you right now. But here's what we do have. Where I live, there is a park that is called No Man's Land that is owned not by the states, not by Canada, but by no one. And so Americans can drive up to that park and I can walk across the ditch and chill with my bros.
No kidding.
Nice.
No one can stop me.
That's awesome.
It's legal. Yeah.
It's legal. Kind of weird gray area. No masks, no quarantine after either. So people are bringing tents and just fucking.
Yeah. Oh.
All right.
I'm not kidding. Like there's weddings happening.
Okay.
Like American Canadian weddings happening. There's like tent city. There's like trafficking happening. Like it's bad. It's a horrible park. And it's 2 blocks from my house. So I get to deal with all the bullshit that couples with it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to use this to my advantage. Finally. Fine. I'm going to do it then. I don't care. If it's open, I'm doing it. So we did the photo shoot there. We did a hilarious video there. It is By far one of my favorite collabs I've ever done in my lifetime. So that's coming out, and you can get a pair of their Flopperators and our sunglasses for $100.
Oh,
awesome.
I love that name, Flopperators. I love that.
Yeah,
Now,
they're just a dope company.
Now, is that going to be available on your website as well?
It'll be on Combat Flip Flop's website.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but don't you worry. I'll get your emails. I'll get your ass. Don't worry.
All right.
Nice.
I'll follow you.
Be up having a show our feet. Be like, check these things out.
Oh, they're dope. They're so nice too. And the Flopperators come with a Canadian flag and an American flag.
Nice.
Because we're Canadian.
Nice. I like it. That's awesome.
So where is the best way for everybody to find you, your book, and all your other swag that you're selling with, and we'll put all of it in the show notes as well, but what's the best way for folks to connect?
So for us, we actually just started, we did a rebrand of our Instagram. So our Instagram doesn't have a lot of following right now. We'll just let you know, we did that because we did a whole new, how we're going to be portraying ourselves to the world. So it's at Brass and Unity on every platform across the board. Mine is Kelsi_Sheren. I've been forced to start an Instagram, so don't judge me in my lack of skills on that. But everything is at brassandunity.com, everything. So we actually have another collab coming out this month. I'm very excited with these guys. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. I'm going to pull the book out. You ready for this? I feel like Vanna White right now. Everyone's seeing my thank you. It's called Do the Fucking Work, and it's by Good Fucking Design Advice. These guys have worked with Apple and Nike, and they're incredible. But what's really dope about them is they give life advice. This book is not a normal book. This is the type of stuff you're looking at. I'll get my fat fingers out of there. There you go. So it's really like advice. It's you know, helps get you through. I love this one. This is one of my favorite. Ask for fucking help.
Yeah. Number 4. Yeah.
Right. But HarperCollins, when they published this is the first book ever to have a swear word on the cover. And so for me, I was like, oh my God, this is made for me. And so these guys sponsor the podcast, but we have our own mug. And here's what's really cool. And this is why I'm excited about it. These guys, everything they have, they write advice for. So it'll say like, do the fucking work. Right. But then it gives you a whole blurb at the end of it. So keep your fucking chin held high. And then there's all the advice here. Well, they did our own advice. So we have our own page coming out. We have our own mug with our own advice with them on it. And it's basically help somebody. And the whole thing is about how you need to be fucking helping as many people as you can and bringing them along the way you can, because there's a reason I'm here. So fucking help somebody kind of situation. So that'll be on our website as well. I'm really excited.
That'll be on Brass and Unity website as well?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I feel like I'm just hucking I feel like so weird about this, guys.
That is great stuff, because, you know, Rick and I had a conversation last week about this, and we really weren't sure what the format was going to be, but we found that a lot of folks just need help. They need a little inspiration. They need a couple words of wisdom. You know, like you said, I'm not any expert at anything as far as I'm concerned, but just little things that helped me through the years, and Rick and yourself. That's big stuff. And that's really what a lot of people, especially these crazy times, are looking for. Just a little bit of inspiration. Keep your chin up. How simple that is, but how effective it is.
Right. Yeah. I think there's benefit in community, and that's all great. But unfortunately, when the governments are taking our ability to have community out, I don't know. I know you guys down in Texas and like a lot of the southern states, you guys are open, you guys are living your lives. But unfortunately, what I'm seeing here in Canada, when I'm getting my girlfriends calling me from Ontario saying her 7-year-old is suicidal because she hasn't been able to be at school or see her friends, and she locks herself in her room, she closes the blinds and just says, "Mommy, I'm just too tired. I'm sorry, but it's not enough anymore." And so podcasting has been such a huge thing for people. And if you give them something to hold on to and listen to that adds value to their life, people will go the distance. They just need a little help.
Yeah.
No,
and that's
100%.
Exactly why your podcast is successful, and exactly why we asked you to come on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
You guys are dope. You guys are awesome.
So what's that other bag of goodies you got over there next to your book?
You mean my men's underwear sponsor?
Yes.
Oh, geez. I didn't know. Man, I got set up for that one.
Bro, I'm gonna hook you guys up. Don't worry about it. Listen, so
Okay.
let me
What
be
if we
Vanna
roll
White.
commando?
You're not
Listen,
going to want it. You're not going to want it.
You're not gonna want it after you wear a pair of beneath underwear.
Beneath underwear.
Okay, so honestly, they're great. They sponsor a lot of extreme sports athletes. I got lucky enough with them because, again, walking into marrying an extreme sports athlete, my husband hit up them and was like, "Hey, my wife's got a podcast. She's looking for some sponsors. Would you guys want to do it?" And then I was like, "Perfect fit, female podcaster, men's underwear company. Let's do that." It's really, it's really comfortable when you have guys on your show and you're like, "Hey, what's your underwear size?" at the end of it, because it's not weird at all. Not at all.
Nope.
Yeah.
So what
They all
cool.
say extra large too.
Yeah, they send me only extra
Large,
extra
large.
And then they go to put them on and they fall right off of
Oh
them.
man.
Yeah, right off of.
Yeah.
You know what? I think the largest underwear. This is going to be weird. I got a podcast coming out with Ray Cash this week.
Oh yeah.
And I was asking, I was like, "Hey Ray, so like, what size underwear do you wear, bro?" And he was like, "What?" I was like, "What size underwear do you wear?" And he's like, "I think I'm like a large, medium, medium, large. We'll go." I'm like, "I'm gonna send you a large.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna send you a large. You look like a big dude. You're gonna get larges." I don't actually know, but the cool thing about them is, are you ready? I'm gonna give you all the cool things. They increase your comfort because they have this thing that has like a 3-dimensional lift, so it's like a little pouch that your junk goes in, and it like keeps it up, so shit's not all over the place. I know,
Okay.
right? That's how I should start doing my ads for this show. Is it just keeps your shit tight? But no, seriously, my husband wears that.
Flapping.
Yeah, you don't want to flap off the legs. It's not healthy.
Okay.
But anyway, this is Beneath. They're amazing. I love them. I can't wear them yet because they don't make women's, although I have tried them on to feel how soft they're. And they have a cop a feel section where you can just cop a feel.
Yeah.
Like, I do that a lot.
Well, Ray probably couldn't hear it because he's too busy doing push-ups.
You leave his push-ups alone. He looks amazing because of those push-ups. I'm sorry, but if my husband looks like that when he's his age, I am down. I'm not sorry,
Yeah,
Ray.
ma'am.
Your wife is
He
amazing.
is funny.
That was
Yeah,
weird.
he's going to be a
I
good
like
guest.
him.
So, well,
Are you having him
congratulate-
on?
No, I'm talking about for you.
Oh, well, you guys should have him on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us an intro.
Yeah, give us
I'll
an
hook you
intro.
up. He's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
He was honestly one of the. I was so jacked up after my interview with him. Like he got me like wanting to just push it out because I was like, I need to be doing everything you're doing because you're like, I walked out of the podcast studio and my girls were like, first off, we should have put a fuck counter up. Number 2, you are like ready to go right now. And I'm like, I'm ready to fuck someone up. Like, let's do this. Like he made me want to go kill it even harder. And I was like, I don't know how that's even possible.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
he's getting after it. He doesn't stop. So-
No, I like it.
Well, congratulations on all your success and all your. There's no question why the sponsors are just jumping at you because it's a great show and you got a lot going on, a lot of irons in the fire, and congratulations on everything. And I can't wait to see the book. And
Thank you.
Thanks for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you guys. It means a lot. I'm sorry for your listeners if they've had to just listen to me whine on. It's a weird feeling being a guest after being a host. I'm sure you guys get that, right?
Sure. No, but there's no whining going on, right? It's getting the word out there. I mean, honestly, let's be an honest broker. You're doing amazing work. Yeah. And
Thank
really,
you guys. Thank you.
My takeaway from this whole episode, inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Your message is getting out there that, hey, look it, you can be in the dumps. You can be right there at the fringe of doing something catastrophic. And I'll just say this. This is just Rick's 2 cents, and I'm going to put it out there. If you're in that boat thinking of it, reach out and get help. Because in my opinion, it's a selfish move because you take the easy way out and then you just put the burden on everybody else.
Right.
So, but from that, here's the thing. You were at that place. You didn't, things happen. Perfect. But look where you're at now. That is motivational, inspirational, whatever you want to say. So if someone is out there in that boat, don't do it. Look to Kelsi as kind of, that person that has gone from rock bottom to where she's at now and boom.
And we say, reach out. We say it honestly, and we do this too. So just so you're aware, if you're struggling, and I mean, you're struggling, it doesn't matter if you're in America, Canada, wherever, I got resources everywhere. So we say, just email info@Brass and Unity. And if you can't find the help, we'll find it for you. We do it all the time. I got no issue doing it. I'll get on calls, but you don't have to make that your option. You have so much more to live for, and it may not feel like it right now. I've been there. A lot of us have been there, but it's the ones that make it through that can help the others. Remember, we've all made it through this for a reason. You just might not know what that reason is yet. And that's all it is. We can get you there. We can get you the help. We can give you the support, but we can't do it unless you reach out and ask for it.
Right.
100%.
Right.
Man.
Well, hang on. Don't hang up after we leave you here for a second, Kelsi, but really appreciate you being on the show. I'm sure the audience loved it.
Thanks for being on. Trust me, they will.
They loved it. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Rick. Great show, buddy.
Man, that was, when you look at episodes, super powerful. So, man, I think that's one's going to hit some marks, just very inspirational, motivational. So, absolutely fantastic.
Well, like you said, if you're having trouble, you're going through a rough time, you're having trouble seeing past it, look at Kelsi. That's where the possibility can be. So, so great. Anyway, guys, we have a shout out to our patrons on the bottom. Check them out. Hey, go check out the Patreon page. Again, thanks to Killcliff for sponsoring the show. Go check them out on their website at killcliff.com and hit the Killcliff Club and do the rewards program. So, Rick,
you get information before everybody else. So who knows what goodies they're going to be giving away.
Yeah,
don't forget, guys, hit that subscribe, like, give us a rating, review, just so we can help bump the numbers up and get the show out to more people.
Yep. Go check out Brass and Unity podcast on YouTube and anywhere
100%.
YouTube or podcast be found. All right, Rick, be safe, brother. Another one, man.
You too, buddy.
All right, pal.
Awesome.
Take care, buddy.
Take care.